Sup YouTube, Born and Asphodel Meadow here, and I'm here to talk about death. There have been several videos recently by some of my favorite subscribers about such subjects as death and mortality and what comes after death and the act of killing someone. I don't know if it was brought on by the recent murder-suicide that we're all familiar with or if it was just a coincidence, but thought I'd give my 2 cents on it. Now, being an atheist, I obviously don't believe in an afterlife. I think when you die like everything else dies. You sit and rot in the ground. And I think that's how it should be, too. The concept that after I die, there will be no ends, there will be no completions, there will be no finalities. It'll just be me, after I die, going somewhere in conscious form and being there for the rest of eternity, whether it be heaven or hell. Neither of that appealed to me that much. If you go to hell, well, you've obviously got to suffer with fire and brimstone and eternal burning for eternity. If you go to heaven, then you pretty much have to exist like a cow exists for the rest of eternity, for the rest of always. Just being in heaven in eternal bliss and happiness, not accomplishing anything, not changing in any way, not advancing yourself without any pressure or competition or strife, with nothing to make life or nothing to make existence entertaining, just being up there forever. And purgatory is obviously not much better than that. It's essentially the same thing minus the happiness. And none of these ideas are that appealing to me at all. I much prefer the concept that when I die, that's it. My story is told, and my consciousness winks out of existence. The energy that my body has been using to sustain itself returns to the earth and is recycled into everything else. And in terms of fearing death, like every animal should, I have that natural, instinctual reluctance to suffer pain or to die. So if I were to be confronted with death, like if I were to be aware that my time was coming, whether it be premature or when I'm like 90 years old and I don't care anymore, it's kind of hard to put. I wouldn't be afraid mentally, like I'd be reluctant to it. I would resist with everything I have because to do so is natural. But the notion of death doesn't scare me at all. It doesn't incite fear or any kind of unpleasant or pleasant emotions. Death is not only the absence of any kind of stimulation whatsoever, it's the absence of awareness of the stimulation. And it's really kind of hard to fathom what it would be like to be dead. And one of the guys I subscribed to named Schwannerd tried to put it well enough, but he himself admitted it was kind of inadequate. So I'll give you guys an example of what I think death would be like. I went through surgery on my leg recently, and as such they put me under an anesthetic. And this is basically what it's like to be dead, in my opinion. Your consciousness winks out, there's no more brain activity whatsoever. And I woke up afterwards, obviously. But from death, you don't wake up, so the end of this story won't apply. But basically, this is what it's like to die. Like, every time you get anesthetized, they start talking to you, so you don't know when it's going to be coming. A lot like death. You don't know when you're going to pass out. The point at which your consciousness is dissolved is completely unpredictable. And then, how's that? You awake? Yeah, thought so. That was basically what it's like to go into surgery. Just, you're gone, and then you come back into the world of awareness. This is what it is to die. There's no, like, it's not like what many consider to be purgatory, which is like an eternal darkness or just existence, like, without anything to stimulate you whatsoever. It's just nothing. It can't be described in human words, because even the word nothing implies that there is an awareness of this nothingness. It implies the existence of this nothingness. It's the lack of existence. And so this is why it doesn't scare me. Like, many people would say, oh, I'm not afraid of death, but I would be sorry for my loved ones. I would be sad for what they would have to go through when I die. And for the time I was alive, the moments preceding my death, I would be aware that they would be sad when I die, that people who love me will not have an easy time with my death. But at the same time, I'm also going to be aware that when I die, I won't care anymore. It's like, you know, it's not like there's anything depressing about death. Once you die, you won't care about anything anymore. You won't care if everyone you ever loved suffers for eternity forever, even if that becomes the case after you die, because it won't be relevant to you. You will not exist. One of the other people I subscribe to by the name of Bionic Dance, check her out, she's got some good stuff, mentioned that she's taking martial arts lessons, and she was asked by her sensei if she was ready to use the teachings of this martial art to kill someone. It's a deep question, but I really don't think it merits more thought than just saying like if someone approached me with the intent to kill me, the natural instinct is to defend yourself from death. You have no more right to live than this person, and this person has no more right to live than you. So should you die for the sake of not killing them, or should you kill them for the sake of you not dying? I would probably kill the person if I could, because neither of us deserves to exist more. And to resist that, like I said, I'm not going to just bend over and accept death. I'm going to try to fight it tooth and nail. And when they're dead, I'm not going to be sorry for the fact that they're dead, because they caused it themselves. But it's not a matter of like petty revenge or anything. It's not like you started it. It's like they're dead. They don't feel sad about their death after they die. They don't feel pain after they die. They don't feel regret over all the things they didn't do in their lives when they're dead, because they're dead. So I wouldn't have any moral resignations about killing someone to save myself. Another thing that was brought up is the constructive purpose of life for the sake of getting everything you want to do while you're on this planet done. Like, it was something Schwanner said. It was like, the only reason, he said, rough paraphrasing, the only reason I would not want to die is because I didn't get a chance to do everything that I wanted to do. I suppose for the amount of time that you're alive, like in the moments preceding your death, you would probably be really sad that you never tried skydiving or whatever you chose to set as a goal for your life. But you must also understand that when you're dead, it's not going to matter. There's no reason to abhor death in any way, because it's not like any of these accomplishments that we get here on this planet, or that we achieve mentally, mean anything after we die. It may mean something for the people who are still here, but it means nothing to us. It has no relevance. So I guess I'm kind of the Linkin Park philosophy there, you know. In the end, it doesn't really matter. But that's no reason to not do it, because to not do the things you want to do. Because for the time that you're here, it does make the difference. I have the utmost respect for people who accept their death when the time comes, because to do so is to defy the natural instinct that we all have to try to live. And it also means you have the confidence to stand up and say, you know what, I'm not going to suffer indignation at the hands of some kind of deity or the hands of some kind of supernatural force to just say, oh please, I don't want to die. I'm too young, or I'm too pretty to die, I don't want to. You know, there's no point. It's not going to make you achieve anything more or less. It's not going to make you look anything but childish and naive to think that anything could extend your life beyond its preset limit, if there is such a thing. There are many people who believe in like near-death experiences that allow them to get a glimpse of what it's like to see where they're going, you know, like with some people see angels come down and they feel infinite peace. And there's obviously a rational explanation for all of these, like maybe your brain is releasing an endorphin right as you think you're dying, or maybe it's just some abstract memory that's come up due to the stress of your brain or something like that. I don't know anyone who's actually had a near-death experience, but I can say with a fair amount of confidence that there is an explanation for all of that stuff. And it doesn't mean that your God exists or that he's actually going to welcome you into his arms when you die. From what I understand, there are far fewer people who have near-death experiences where they see angels than there are people who see fire and brimstone. You know, you never hear about those people. You never hear about the people who go, oh, I was in surgery and something went wrong, and then all of a sudden there was fire and brimstone and demons and pitchforks. Like, you know, but there are obviously a lot of people who are going to hell according to religions, because everyone who's not of the correct religion is probably going to be damned for eternity. So I think it's pretty impractical to think that if you have a near-death experience, it means there is actually something after death. So those are my thoughts on the subject. I'm born in Asphodel Meadow, and actually, you know what? Feel free to discuss this. I'd really like some discussion going on in the comments section here. I'd really like to know what people think about this. Do you guys think life has some kind of greater value to it? Do you think experience on this plane has anything to do with when you die? Do you think dying is actually a bad thing? Anyway, just, you know, feel free to comment. I'm born in Asphodel Meadow. Peace. See you guys later. Subscribe to me, and I promise you'll live forever. And should that not be the case, you can feel free to unsubscribe.